Hi, I'm Lavita Gonsalves, coming from Mira Road, Mumbai. This is my Thanksgiving retreat at Divine Retreat Center, and this is my second retreat here. Several years back, like say around 6 years back, my dad had taken loan from money lenders to set up a business. The loan amount was almost close to 15 lakhs, and the business ran for around 3 years. Each month that the business would run, it would not yield any profit to the family or to the business, but it would only incur losses. And in order to pay the workers and to maintain the machineries, my dad would always have to borrow another set of amount from somebody else and pay the workers and to maintain the machinery out there. So in this way, a lot of loan got accumulated and the business could survive only for 3 years. And then finally we had to shut it down. I belong to a family of 4, my mom, my dad, my younger brother and me. It was very difficult to pay for our studies, and my brother is still studying, so it was difficult to run the family as well. When we shut down the business, and when all the money lenders came to know about it, my dad, they started following up with us to repay the money back, and this went around to almost 2 years. It was a lot of torture in the family, and it would ruin the family peace in the house, and a lot of arguments. Finally, once my dad approached the parish priest in our church, he told my father to continuously attend the Monday Hindi retreat in the church, and that he would lift up his intentions during the retreat. It was almost 3 retreats that my dad attended, and on the third retreat, was a first Friday retreat, Hindi retreat in the church, during which towards the end, during the adoration, my dad got a call and he was told that he got selected for a job in Uganda. That day was a day of great joy in the family, and we praised the Lord immensely for all the graces that he had shown to us. It was almost 2 years of a lot of torture from all the money lenders that we finally gave a word to all of them that now that God has blessed Dad with a job, we will repay all the loan back. Dad happened to go to Uganda, and in between that, after Dad could be in Uganda, a year later, me, my brother, and my mom, along with my husband right now, so we had come for a retreat here, and the sole intention of the retreat was to repay back all the debts before Dad could come back. And God did answer our prayers. Dad worked there for 3 years, and within those 3 years, we repaid all the loan back to the money lenders. And the second Thanksgiving is for my wedding life, which have been blessed to me last week. So we got married last week, and it was our decision that first after the wedding, we will definitely go and make a retreat at a Divine Retreat Center. It will be a Thanksgiving retreat, and that's what we are here for.
I'm Livian Rodrigues from Mumbai. I come from a family of 4, my husband and 2 sons. And this is my third retreat, a Thanksgiving retreat. My first experience at Divine was about 15 years back when my husband was posted in Cochin working, and along with my children, I came to visit my husband, and we had heard about Divine Retreat Center, but we did not know that we had to attend a residential retreat. So we made inquiries and we came in for a mass, and we were told that the mass would be at 3 p.m. So we were here at 3 p.m. for the mass, and it was a very long mass because of the translations. So my husband was a little bit upset that it took 3 hours for the mass. After the mass, we were stopped at the gate saying that we cannot go back, we have to attend. So we told we did not come prepared for a retreat and we were not aware. that was our first experience. Soon after that, my husband lost his job and he came back to Mumbai. And I was getting a feeling that we should go back to Divine and make a proper residential retreat. So I was trying to convince my husband that we'll go for the retreat, but he was not willing to come for the retreat, and he was at home. It was Christmas time, and I decided that if he's not coming, I will come along with my children, my two sons. They were small that time. I booked my husband's ticket as well, and I packed his bags too. But still, even one day before departure, he said he did not want to come. Next morning, the day when we were leaving, I had gone for Mass, and when I was coming, I told God, if you want, you can bring him for the retreat. At that point of time, my sister called him and she told him, it's Christmas time, you all should be together, and I think you should go for the retreat. So when I came back, suddenly my husband said that he's coming, pack his bags. I'm coming for the retreat, he said. And he came for the retreat. And we came together for the Christmas retreat. During the retreat, for the first 2 days, he was not that, he wasn't that involved with the prayers. But on the third day, when during praise and worship, I saw him dancing, and the preacher who was there said that there is a person over here who was forced by his wife to come, but at this session, he's been touched by the Lord. So I claimed that for my husband. And he made a good retreat, and we went back. And as soon as we went back, within a couple of days, his boss called him and he told him there is a job opportunity for him. And thereafter, we have received many, many blessings in our family. And I want to thank God in this testimony for the many blessings that he has bestowed upon me and my family, my children.
Hello, my name is Aloysius. I'm from Kerala. I'm currently a student studying in Canada. So I was born with an allergy. It's a condition called eczema. So it was since the day I was born. And I've been suffering for almost 14 years. So it usually starts off with the tightening of the skin and a constant itch. So, but then I never realized this was a sort of a sickness, but I usually got used to it. But I was pretty much raised in Dubai, but each time I go visit in India, it gets much worse because of the climate, and my skin gets tightened. I can literally feel the tightening all over my body, including my face, and it starts tearing due to extreme dryness. I tried consulting many doctors, top dermatologists, but it did not affect me, except for creams that I applied just to heal the wounds that I've caused due to the extreme dryness. So I was allergic to all sorts of food. In fruits, I was allergic to all sorts of food, tomatoes, all the basic general foods. It's only specific vegetables that I'm not allergic to. Fruits, I'm not allergic to bananas, strawberries, but the rest I'm allergic to. I was allergic to rice, I was allergic to bread, I was not allergic to all sorts of nuts. So in general, I was not able to eat. If I have to consider, filter out things that I'm allergic to, then literally there was nothing I could eat that keeps me alive, but I had to push this through and take steroids and medicine just to suppress it. And I was asthmatic patient as well, along with the allergies, which is part of the allergic symptoms. I was brought up in a strictly religious family. So I did not really experience, I was just told. I was just told who God was, who Jesus is, and what he's capable of, but I did not experience it. But just for the sake of how my parents brought me up, I just followed through. And I did not give up with what I was following through. I kept going, pushing it. At some point, it was just a coincidence that we heard about Divine Retreat, and I got not an invitation, but technically, we had this plan. We made a plan to see what really this retreat was about. And we attended this retreat. In the beginning, I was never into this charismatic raising arms and praising the Lord. It was new to me, and I found it really kind of awkward and embarrassing. But this is something what you're supposed to do because you're putting yourself out onto the Lord. So for a couple of times, I see the people beside me, and I just went with the flow. So the physical healing took place on the third day when I attended the retreat, after attending the retreat. That was after the physical healing. And I did not feel any, to be plain bluntly honest, I did not feel any power, but the only difference I felt was I didn't feel like itching all over my body. Like usually that's used to it. I'm used to it, used to the itching, but all of a sudden I just stopped itching. So I've been suffering for 14 years. So after attending this retreat, I've got healed. Now it's been almost 8 years, and I'm still free from all sorts of allergy. I can eat, consume whatever I want.
I'm Neeta Gracious, come from Abu Dhabi. I have 3 sons who are married, blessed with 2 grandchildren. And this is my 3rd retreat that I have come. In 2009, I was brought with a friend of mine, who's my daughter-in-law today. They brought me for this retreat to experience the healing as I had lost my husband, and I just couldn't get over it, as we had a very close relationship. And I was asked to let go, and those 5 days experience I had, I was touched, healed with my arthritis pain, and I think I overcame a lot of healing with that loss of my husband's relationship. Thereafter, I went back home and I got more closer to God, and I learned the real way to pray, which I think I always felt that it was me and my husband, God was third. But now I learned to keep God as my first and everyone second. Thereafter, I was thirsting to come again to the retreat center, but I had finance issues, and with all that, I didn't know how I will reach here. As I was alone, my children didn't feel that I should be sent alone. They had job situations, everyone trying to bring the whole situation together. And I only kept crying and telling my Lord, Lord, I'm thirsting. I need to come to you again, to the retreat center. So there was a friend of mine who was planning to settle back in America, who was in Abu Dhabi, but settling back to America. So every time I prayed, I felt I got her message that she needs to experience Pota retreat. In 4 days, she called me and she said, Neeta, listen, I want to experience this retreat with you. And I'm going to book throughout everything, and we are going together. And she booked me business class. We came together in 2018, January. This year itself, in January, she brought her maid, me. We had a wonderful retreat. She too was touched and experienced. She has gone back to America. The reason of this retreat is especially to come and thank my Lord. As I'm come from Abu Dhabi, I had visa issues and I overstayed. Thereafter, by overstaying for so long, there was a fine to be paid which would amount to about 700,000 dirhams, the Abu Dhabi currency. So it was a real pressure, and my children were not aware. I had accumulated money with whatever I do. I do a lot of, I take food orders, I do craft work, do wedding events. I managed to accumulate 7,000 dirhams, and I did not tell my children, but everyone had fears as to what fine is going to be waived. But I had this money with me kept quietly, and when we went there, and prayer was continuously on, crying at the foot of my Lord, that Lord, only you can help me. And I don't know, I had 7,000 exact in my wallet. When we went there, the judge called out to the first person, and they were waived out, and only 1,000 was asked to pay. When it came to my turn, they called my son, not me, and they told my son, you can pay only 7,000 dirhams and walk away. So that's how my children were just looking blank, because they could not believe that we had to pay only 7,000. He thought the judge made a mistake, But I immediately told them, darling, come, let's go out. I have the money in my bag. We paid the money and we walked out of the immigration department. Thereafter, the next fear was now, once we cancel and we leave the country, when the visa is cancelled, the rule was they would want to bring me on a visit visa, because residence visa again would take time, as to they have to get a secured job. So to get me on visit, the rule at that point of time was, you take a visit visa, when 3 months are over, you leave the country, stay out of the country for 1 month. Then you apply another visa again. So that was the next stress, as to how again I have a house in Goa, but how will I stay alone? That was my within fear, and my children were also worried, I knew. I kept praying. I said, Lord, I know you will make a way for me. And I feel overnight there was a rule change. You can leave the country, as soon as you exit, you apply for the next visa and your visa is out. And thereafter I always feel and I claim that God changed this rule for me. From then, now it's almost 8 trips I have traveled in and out of the country. By just staying 5 days, my visa is out, I travel again. In all this experience of my retreat that I have come here, I have learned to learn God so much. I'm so attached to Him that I think I take a lot of food orders. Every day I feel is a blessing from Him, miracle from Him. I think even when I cook, I feel His hand is stirring, not me. And I attend masses. The whole week, I have shifted from a far off place to the city. I told my Lord, please Lord, take me closer to the church so that I don't depend on my children to take me for daily mass. But my God again worked a wonderful miracle. He brought me in the city, not closer to church, but a place where I can do everything on my own, and I have left, right and center neighbors who drive me for mass daily. So I attend daily masses. I have joined the intercessory group. I have gone for Navinas. I don't miss mass at all. This is what I have gained, and that's why I feel that my Lord has not missed His word. As Father Augustine first said, that God has written my name on His palm, and God has kept His word throughout.
My name is Martin Fernandez. I am 58 years old. I am from Tuticorin, a small town in Tamil Nadu. My wife is employed in St. Mary's College, Tuticorin, and I have a son who is doing his 3rd year mechanical. I was born and brought up in Coimbatore, where I finished my graduation in economics and my post-graduation in business administration. I got a lot of jobs and I traveled throughout the country. Finally, I got married and settled in Tuticorin. In the meantime, in 1981, I got into addiction of cigarettes. Because of peer pressure, I was actually an innocent boy, but due to peer pressure, to maintain the status quo, I had to comply to my friend's request, and I started with 1 cigarette, daily 1 cigarette. It came on to 20 cigarettes a day. So it's almost like a chain smoking. And from cigarettes, slowly I went on to drugs and alcohol. Because of this habit, I was not able to stick to one job. And because of a lack of employment, I used to steal things and sell it for a shot or sell it for a couple of drinks. This was my life, and I was totally left alone, estranged from the family for more than 5 years. The first time I came to know about Divine Retreat was when I was in the very brink of my life, when I was almost to the point of death, because I had no purpose in life to live. So it was then my sister, she took me to Divine, saying that you go there, you'll be there for some hours and you can come back. But after coming here, I realized that I'll have to be here for a retreat for 5 days. Initially for 1 or 2 days, it was very tough for me. But then on the 3rd day, I started getting into the program. By physical healing and inner healing, I was very much involved with the retreat program, and I was able to practice it. Then the Lord touched me, name was called out. Initially nothing happened, but in the course of 1 or 2 years, I was slowly freed. One night I was a smoker, and next morning I was, for 3 days I never had a thought of taking a cigarette at all. This must come as a surprise to everybody. But not even a single thought came about cigarette for 3 days. For drinks, initially I told a lie to my wife, and but then because of the word which I heard in divine retreat, and after which I used to go to the church, read Bible, so the word of God came, and it didn't allow me to tell a lie. So I told the truth. Yes, I took a drink. And immediately, that same moment, I was freed from addiction of alcohol. Since then, I have not taken. Now I am totally free. Drugs also the same thing. I was free from drugs also because of the word of God. One of my friends from Coimbatore, he took care and he came down to Bombay. When I was in Bombay for some time, he came down to Bombay, and he reconciled me with my family, and he talked to them, I talked to them, and then once the ice was broken, it was after a long meeting, then everything melted down and there was love once again, and I got mixed into the family once again. For a long time I had insomnia. Once I was into this addiction, there was no sleep, and because of lack of sleep, that itself was prompting me to go for cigarettes, for drinks, for drugs. I used to have the false belief that once I have this, then I can sleep. But it was of to no avail. It was no use. Once I realized that, again I asked the Lord to touch me in this area. In September 2017, when I visited Divine Retreat Center, the Lord touched me. I didn't realize it then, but during the course of a couple of weeks later, when I noticed that I was sleeping, my sleep, the quality of sleep was improving. I was sleeping, my quality of sleep was improving. I was sleeping minimum 8 hours per day. Once the Lord touched me, I know that He is hearing my prayers. I'm going to church every day. I don't miss a mass any day. I participate in the church. Earlier I used to be an onlooker, but now I participate in the singing, in saying my prayers. So that way, He has become my Lord. Earlier He was a God to me, but now He has become a Lord and Master of my life.